Are you learning vocabulary? Here are the 1000 most essential English words you should learn first. Hi everyone. I'm Heslam from www.translatein.com. This vocabulary list has 1000 words and it shows definitions for each word. So let's get started. Consider. Consider. Deem to be. Minute. Minute. Infinitely or immeasurably small. Accord. Accord. Concurrence of opinion. Evident. Evident. Clearly revealed to the mind or the senses or judgment. Practice. Practice. A customary way of operation or behavior. Intend. Intend. Have in mind as a purpose. Concern. Concern. Something that interests you because it is important. Commit. Commit. Perform an act, usually with a negative connotation. Issue. Issue. Some situation or event that is thought about. Approach. Approach. Move towards. Establish. Establish. Set up or found. Utter. Utter. Without qualification. Conduct. Conduct. Direct the course of. Manage or control. Engage. Engage. Consume all of one's attention or time. Obtain. Obtain. Come into possession of. Scarce. Scarce. Deficient in quantity or number compared with the demand. Policy. Policy. A plan of action adopted by an individual or social group. Straight. Straight. Successive, without a break. Stock. Stock. Capital raised by a corporation through the issue of shares. Apparent. Apparent. Clearly revealed to the mind or the senses or judgment. Property. Property. A basic or essential attribute shared by members of a class. Fancy. Fancy. Imagine, conceive of, see in one's mind. Concept. Concept. An abstract or general idea inferred from specific instances. Court. Court. An assembly to conduct judicial business. Appoint. Appoint. Assign a duty, responsibility, or obligation to. Passage. Passage. A section of text, particularly a section of medium length. vain, vain, unproductive of success. Instance, instance, an occurrence of something. Coast, coast, the shore of a sea or ocean. Project, project, a planned undertaking. Commission, commission, a special group delegated to consider some matter. Constant, constant, a quantity that does not vary. Circumstances, circumstances, one's overall condition in life. Constitute, constitute, compose or represent. Level, level, a relative position or degree of value in a graded group. Affect, affect, have an influence upon. Institute, institute, set up or lay the groundwork for. Render, render, give an interpretation of. Appeal, appeal, be attractive to. Generate, generate, bring into existence. Theory, theory, a well-substantiated explanation of some aspect of the world. Range, range, a variety of different things or activities. Campaign, campaign, a race between candidates for elective office. League, league, an association of sports teams that organizes matches. Labor, labor, any piece of work that is undertaken or attempted. Confer, confer, have a meeting in order to talk something over. Grant, grant, allow to have. Dwell, dwell, think moodily or anxiously about something. Entertain, entertain, provide amusement for. Contract, contract, a binding agreement that is enforceable by law. Earnest, earnest, characterized by a firm, humorless belief in one's opinions. Yield, yield, give or supply. Wonder, wonder, move or cause to move in a sinuous or circular course. Insist, insist, be emphatic or resolute and refuse to budge. Knight, knight, a person of noble birth trained to arms and chivalry. Conveyance. Conveyance. Make realize the truth or validity of something. Inspire. Inspire. Serve as the inciting cause of. Convention. Convention. A large formal assembly. Skill. Skill. An ability that has been acquired by training. Harry. Harry. Annoy continually or chronically. Financial. Financial. Involving fiscal matters. Reflect. Reflect. Show an image of. Novel. Novel. An extended fictional work in prose. Furnish. Furnish. Provide with objects or articles that make a room usable. Compel. Compel. Force somebody to do something. Venture. Venture. Proceed somewhere despite the risk of possible dangers. Territory. Territory. The geographical area under the jurisdiction of a state. Temper. Temper. A characteristic state of feeling. Bent. Bent. Fixed in your purpose. Intimate. Intimate. Marked by close acquaintance, association, or familiarity. Undertake. Undertake. Enter upon an activity or enterprise. Majority. Majority. More than half of the votes in an election. Assert. Assert. Declare or affirm solemnly and formally as true. Crew. Crew. The men and women who man a vehicle. Chamber. Chamber. A natural or artificial enclosed space. Humble. Humble. Marked by meekness or modesty, not arrogant or prideful. Scheme. Scheme. An elaborate and systematic plan of action. Keen. Keen. Demonstrating ability to recognize or draw fine distinctions. Liberal. Liberal. Having political views favoring reform and progress. Despair. Despair. A state in which all hope is lost or absent. Tide. Tide. The periodic rise and fall of the sea level. Attitude. Attitude. A complex mental state involving beliefs and feelings. Justify. Justify. Show to be reasonable or provide adequate ground for. Flag. Flag. A rectangular piece of cloth of distinctive design. Merit. Merit. Any admirable or beneficial attribute. Manifest. Manifest. Reveal its presence or make an appearance. Notion. Notion. A general inclusive concept. Scale. Scale. Relative magnitude. Formal. Formal. Characteristic of or befitting a person in authority. Resource. Resource. A new or reserve supply that can be drawn upon when needed. Persist. Persist. Continue to exist. Contempt. Contempt. Lack of respect accompanied by a feeling of intense dislike. Tour. Tour. A route all the way around a particular place or area. Plead. Plead. Enter a defendant's answer. Weigh. Weigh. Be oppressive or burdensome. Mode. Mode. How something is done or how it happens. Distinction. Distinction. A discrimination between things as different. Inclined. Inclined. At an angle to the horizontal or vertical position. Attribute. Attribute. A quality belonging to or characteristic of an entity. Exert. Exert. Make a great effort at a mental or physical task. Oppress. Oppress. Come down on or keep down by unjust use of one's authority. Contend. Contend. Compete for something. Stake. Stake. A strong wooden or metal post driven into the ground. Toil. Toil. Work hard. Perish. Perish. Pass from physical life. Disposition. Disposition. Your usual mood. Rail. Rail. Complain bitterly. Cardinal. Cardinal. One of a group of prominent bishops in the Sacred College. Boast. Boast. Talk about oneself with excessive pride or self-regard. Advocate. Advocate. A person who pleads for a person, cause, or idea. Bestow. Bestow. Present. Allege. Allege. Report or maintain. Notwithstanding. notwithstanding, despite anything to the contrary. Lofty, lofty, of imposing height, especially standing out above others. Multitude, multitude, a large indefinite number. Steep, steep, having a sharp inclination. Heat, heat, pay close attention to. Modest, modest, not large but sufficient in size or amount. Partial, partial, being or affecting only a segment. Apartment, apartment, naturally disposed toward. Esteem, esteem, the condition of being honored. Credible, credible, appearing to merit belief for acceptance. Provoke, provoke, provide the needed stimulus for. Tread, tread, a step in walking or running. Ascertain, ascertain, learn or discover with confidence. Fair, fair, proceed, get along, or succeed. Cede, cede, relinquish possession or control over. Perpetual, perpetual, continuing forever or indefinitely. Decree, decree, a legally binding command or decision. Contrive, contrive, make or work out a plan for, devise. Derived, derived, formed or developed from something else, not original. Elaborate, elaborate, marked by complexity and richness of detail. Substantial, substantial, real, having a material or factual existence. Frontier, frontier, a wilderness at the edge of a settled area of a country. Facile, facile, arrived at without due care or effort, lacking depth. Cite, cite, make reference to. Warrant, warrant, show to be reasonable or provide adequate ground for. Sob, sob, weep convulsively. Rider, rider, a traveler who actively sits and travels on an animal. Dense, dense, permitting little if any light to pass through. Afflict, afflict, cause physical pain or suffering in. Flourish, flourish, grow vigorously, ordain, ordain, invest with ministerial or priestly authority, pious, pious, having or showing or expressing reverence for a deity, vex, vex, disturb, especially by minor irritations, gravity, gravity, the force of attraction between all masses in the universe, suspended, suspended, supported or kept from sinking or falling by buoyancy, conspicuous, conspicuous, obvious to the eye or mind, retort, retort, a quick reply to a question or a remark, jet, jet, an airplane powered by gas turbines, bolt, bolt, run away, assent, assent, agree or express agreement, purse, purse, a sum spoken of as the contents of a money container, plus, plus, the arithmetic operation of summing, sanction, sanction, give authority or permission to, proceeding, proceeding, a sequence of steps by which legal judgments are invoked, exalt, exalt, praise, glorify, or honor, siege, siege, an action of an armed force that surrounds a fortified place, malice, malice, feeling a need to see others suffer, extravagant, extravagant, recklessly wasteful, wax, wax, increase in phase, throng, throng, press tightly together or cram, venerate, venerate, regard with feelings of respect and reverence, assail, assail, attack someone physically or emotionally, sublime, sublime, of high moral or intellectual value, exploit, exploit, draw from, make good use of, exertion, exertion, use of physical or mental energy, hard work, kindle, kindle, catch fire, endow, endow, furnish with a capital fund, imposed, imposed, set forth authoritatively as obligatory. Humiliate. Humiliate. Cause to feel shame. Suffrage. Suffrage. A legal right to vote. Ensue. Ensue. Take place or happen afterward or as a result. Brook. Brook. A natural stream of water smaller than a river. Gale. Gale. A strong wind moving 45-90 knots. Muse. Muse. Reflect deeply on a subject. Satire. Satire. Witty language used to convey insults or scorn. Intrigue. Intrigue. Cause to be interested or curious. Indication. Indication. Something that serves to suggest. Dispatch. Dispatch. Send away towards a designated goal. Cower. Cower. Crouch or curl up. Won't. Won't. An established custom. Tract. Tract. A system of body parts that serves some specialized purpose. Canon. Canon. A collection of books accepted as Holy Scripture. Impel. Impel. Cause to move forward with force. Latitude. Latitude. Freedom from normal restraints and conduct. Vacate. Vacate. Leave behind empty, move out of. Undertaking. Undertaking. Any piece of work that is attempted. Slay. Slay. Kill intentionally and with premeditation. Predecessor. Predecessor. One who goes before you in time. Delicacy. Delicacy. The quality of being exquisitely fine in appearance. Forsook. Forsook. Leave someone who needs or counts on you. Leave in the lurch. Beseech. Beseech. Ask for or request earnestly. Philosophical. Philosophical. Relating to the investigation of existence and knowledge. Grove. Grove. A small growth of trees without underbrush. Frustrate. Frustrate. Hinder or prevent, as an effort, plan, or desire. Illustrious. Illustrious. Widely known and esteemed. Device. Device. an instrumentality invented for a particular purpose. Pomp. Pomp. Cheap or pretentious or vain display. Entreat. Entreat. Ask for or request earnestly. Impart. Impart. Transmit, as knowledge or a skill. Propriety. Propriety. Correct behavior. Consecrate. Consecrate. Render holy by means of religious rites. Proceeds. Proceeds. The income or profit arising from a transaction. Fathom. Fathom. Come to understand. Objective. Objective. The goal intended to be attained. Clad. Clad. Wearing or provided with clothing. Partisan. Partisan. Devoted to a cause or political group. Faction. Faction. A dissenting clique. Contrived. Contrived. Artificially formal. Venerable. Venerable. Impressive by reason of age. Restrained. Restrained. Not showy or obtrusive. Besiege. Besiege. Harass, as with questions or requests. Manifestation. Manifestation. A clear appearance. Rebuke. Rebuke. An act or expression of criticism and censure. Insurgent. Insurgent. In opposition to a civil authority or government. Rhetoric. Rhetoric. Using language effectively to please or persuade. Scrupulous. Scrupulous. Having ethical or moral principles. Ratify. Ratify. Approve and express assent, responsibility, or obligation. Stump. Stump. Cause to be perplexed or confounded. Discreet. Discreet. Marked by prudence or modesty and wise self-restraint. Imposing. Imposing. Impressive in appearance. Wistful. Wistful. Showing pensive sadness. Mortify. Mortify. Cause to feel shame. Ripple. Ripple. Stir up so as to form small waves. Premise. Premise. A statement that is held to be true. Subside. subside, wear off or die down. Adverse, adverse, contrary to your interests or welfare. Caprice, caprice, a sudden desire. Muster, muster, gather or bring together. Comprehensive, comprehensive, broad in scope. Accede, accede, yield to another's wish or opinion. Fervent, fervent, characterized by intense emotion. Cohere, cohere, cause to form a united, orderly, and consistent whole. Tribunal, tribunal, an assembly to conduct judicial business. Austere, austere, severely simple. Recovering, recovering, returning to health after illness or debility. Stratum, stratum, people having the same social or economic status. Conscientious, conscientious, characterized by extreme care and great effort. Arbitrary, arbitrary, based on or subject to individual discretion or preference. Exasperate, exasperate, irritate. Conjure, conjure, summon into action or bring into existence. Ominous, ominous, threatening or foreshadowing evil or tragic developments. Edifice, edifice, a structure that has a roof and walls. Elude, elude, escape, either physically or mentally. Pervade, pervade, spread or diffuse through. Foster, foster, promote the growth of. Admonish, admonish, scold or reprimand, take to task. Repeal, repeal, cancel officially. Retiring, retiring, not arrogant or presuming. Incidental, incidental, not of prime or central importance. Acquiesce, acquiesce, agree or express agreement. Slew, slew, a large number or amount or extent. Usurp, usurp, seize and take control without authority. Sentinel, sentinel, a person employed to keep watch for some anticipated event. Precision, precision, the quality of being reproducible in amount or performance. Depose. Depose. Forced to leave an office. Wanton. Wanton. Unprovoked or without motive or justification. Odium. Odium. State of disgrace resulting from detestable behavior. Precept. Precept. A rule of personal conduct. Deference. Deference. A courteous expression of esteem or regard. Fray. Fray. A noisy fight. Candid. Candid. Openly straightforward and direct without secretiveness. Enduring. Enduring. Unceasing. Impertinent. Impertinent. Improperly forward or bold. Bland. Bland. Lacking stimulating characteristics. Uninteresting. Insinuate. Insinuate. Suggest in an indirect or covert way. Give to understand. Nominal. Nominal. Insignificantly small, a matter of form only. Suppliant. Suppliant. Humbly entreating. Languid. Languid. Lacking spirit or liveliness. Rave. Rave. Praise enthusiastically. Monetary. Monetary. Relating to or involving money. Headlong. Headlong. In a hasty and foolhardy manner. Infallible. Infallible. Incapable of failure or error. Coax. Coax. Influence or urge by gentle urging, caressing, or flattering. Explicate. Explicate. Elaborate, as of theories and hypotheses. Gaunt. Gaunt. Very thin, especially from disease or hunger or cold. Morbid. Morbid. Suggesting the horror of death and decay. Ranging. Ranging. Wandering freely. Pacify. Pacify. Ease the anger, agitation, or strong emotion of. Pastoral. Pastoral. Idyllically rustic. Dog. Dog. Stubbornly unyielding. Ebb. Ebb. Fall away or decline. Aid. Aid. Someone who acts as an assistant. Appease. Appease. cause to be more favorably inclined, gain the goodwill of. Stipulate. Stipulate. Make an express demand or provision in an agreement. Recourse. Recourse. Something or someone turn to for assistance or security. Constrained. Constrained. Lacking spontaneity, not natural. Bait. Bait. Moderate or restrain, lessen the force of. Aversion. Aversion. A feeling of intense dislike. Conceit. Conceit. An artistic device or effect. Loath. Loath. Strongly opposed. Rampart. Rampart. An embankment built around a space for defensive purposes. Extort. Extort. Obtained by coercion or intimidation. Tarry. Tarry. Leave slowly and hesitantly. Perpetrate. Perpetrate. Perform an act, usually with a negative connotation. Decorum. Decorum. Propriety in manners and conduct. Luxuriant. Luxuriant. Produced or growing in extreme abundance. Can. Can. Insincere talk about religion or morals. Enjoin. Enjoin. Give instructions to or direct somebody to do something. Avarice. Avarice. Extreme greed for material wealth. Edict. Edict. A formal or authoritative proclamation. Disconcert. Disconcert. Cause to lose one's composure. Symmetry. Symmetry. Balance among the parts of something. Capitulate. Capitulate. Surrender under agreed conditions. Arbitrate. Arbitrate. Act between parties with a view to reconciling differences. Cleave. Cleave. Separate or cut with a tool, such as a sharp instrument. Append. Append. Add to the very end. Visage. Visage. The human face. Howard. Howard. A moving crowd. Parable. Parable. A short moral story. Chastise. Chastise. Censure severely. Foil. Foil. Hinder or prevent, as an effort, plan, or desire. Veritable. Veritable. Being truly so-called, real or genuine. Grapple. Grapple. Work hard to come to terms with or deal with something. Gentry. Gentry. The most powerful members of a society. Pall. Pall. A subtle numbing dread. Maxim. Maxim. A saying that is widely accepted on its own merits. Projection. Projection. A prediction made by extrapolating from past observations. Prowess. Prowess. A superior skill learned by study and practice. Dingy. Dingy. Thickly covered with ingrained dirt or soot. Semblance. Semblance. An outward appearance that is deliberately misleading. Tout. Tout. Advertise in strongly positive terms. Fortitude. Fortitude. Strength of mind that enables one to endure adversity. Asunder. Asunder. Into parts or pieces. Rout. Rout. An overwhelming defeat. Staid. Staid. Characterized by dignity and propriety. Beguile. Beguile. Influenced by slyness. Purport. Purport. Have the often specious appearance of being or intending. Deprave. Deprave. Corrupt morally or by intemperance or sensuality. Bequeath. Bequeath. Leave or give, especially by will after one's death. Enigma. Enigma. Something that baffles understanding and cannot be explained. Assiduous. Assiduous. Marked by care and persistent effort. Vassal. Vassal. A person holding a fief. Quail. Quail. Drawback, as with fear or pain. Outskirts. Outskirts. Area relatively far from the center, as of a city or town. Bulwark. Bulwark. A protective structure of stone or concrete. Swerve. Swerve. An erratic turn from an intended course. Gird. Gird. Prepare oneself for action or a confrontation. Betrothed. Betrothed. Pledge to be married. Prospective. Prospective. Of or concerned with or related to the future. Advert. Advert. Make reference to. . Peremptory. Peremptory. not allowing contradiction or refusal. Rudiment. Rudiment. The elementary stage of any subject. Deduce. Deduce. Reason from the general to the particular. Halting. Halting. Proceeding in a fragmentary, hesitant, or ineffective way. Ignominy. Ignominy. A state of dishonor. Ideology. Ideology. An orientation that characterizes the thinking of a group. Pallid. Pallid. Lacking in vitality or interest or effectiveness. Chagrin. Chagrin. Strong feelings of embarrassment. Obtrude. Obtrude. Thrust oneself in as if by force. Audacious. Audacious. Disposed to venture or take risks. Construe. Construe. Make sense of. Assign a meaning to. Ford. Ford. Cross a river where it's shallow. Repast. Repast. The food served and eaten at one time. Stint. Stint. An unbroken period of time during which you do something. Fresco. Fresco. A mural done with watercolors on wet plaster. Dutiful. Dutiful. Willingly obedient out of a sense of respect. Hue. Hue. Make or shape us with an axe. Parity. Parity. Functional equality. Affable. Affable. Diffusing warmth and friendliness. Interminable. Interminable. Tiresomely long, seemingly without end. Pillage. Pillage. Steal goods. Take as spoils. Foreboding. Foreboding. A feeling of evil to come. Rend. Rend. Tear or be torn violently. Livelihood. Livelihood. The financial means whereby one supports oneself. Deign. Deign. Do something that one considers to be below one's dignity. Capricious. Capricious. Determined by chance or impulse rather than by necessity. Stupendous. Stupendous. So great in size, force, or extent as to elicit awe. Chaff. Chaff. Material consisting of seed coverings and pieces of stem. Innate. innate, not established by conditioning or learning. Reverie, reverie, an abstracted state of absorption. Wrangle, wrangle, quarrel noisily, angrily, or disruptively. Crevice, crevice, a long narrow opening. Ostensible, ostensible, appearing as such but not necessarily so. Craven, craven, lacking even the rudiments of courage, abjectly fearful. Vestige, vestige, an indication that something has been present. Plumb, plumb, examine thoroughly and in great depth. Reticent, reticent, temperamentally disinclined to talk. Propensity, propensity, an inclination to do something. Chide, chide, scold or reprimand severely or angrily. Espouse, espouse, choose and follow a theory, idea, policy, etc. Raiment, raiment, especially fine or decorative clothing. Intrepid, intrepid, invulnerable to fear or intimidation. Seemly, seemly, according with custom or propriety. Allay, allay, lessen the intensity of or come. Fitful, fitful, occurring in spells and often abruptly. Erode, erode, become ground down or deteriorate. Unaffected, unaffected, free of artificiality, sincere and genuine. Canto, canto, a major division of a long poem. Docile, docile, easily handled or managed. Patronize, patronize, treat condescendingly. Team, team, be a buzz. Estrange, estrange, arouse hostility or indifference in. Spat, spat, a quarrel about petty points. Warble, warble, sing or play with trills. Mean, mean, a person's appearance, manner, or demeanor. Sate, sate, fill to contentment. Constituency, constituency, the body of voters who elect a representative for their area. Patrician, patrician, characteristic of the nobility or aristocracy. Pari. Pari. Avoid or try to avoid fulfilling, answering, or performing. Practitioner. Practitioner. Someone who carries out a learned profession. Ravel. Ravel. Disentangle. Infest. Infest. Occupy in large numbers or live on a host. Actuate. Actuate. Give an incentive for doing something. Surly. Surly. Unfriendly and inclined toward anger or irritation. Convalesce. Convalesce. Get over an illness or shock. Demoralize. Demoralize. Lower someone's spirits. Make downhearted. Devolve. Devolve. Grow worse. Alacrity. Alacrity. Liveliness and eagerness. Wave. Wave. Do without or cease to hold or adhere to. Unwanted. Unwanted. Out of the ordinary. Seethe. Seethe. Be in an agitated emotional state. Scrutinize. Scrutinize. Look at critically or searchingly, or in minute detail. Diffident. Diffident. Lacking self-confidence. Execrate. Execrate. Curse or declare to be evil or anathema. Implacable. Implacable. Incapable of being appeased or pacified. Pique. Pique. A sudden outburst of anger. Might. Might. A slight but appreciable amount. Encumber. Encumber. Hold back, impede, or weigh down. Uncouth. Uncouth. Lacking refinement or cultivation or taste. Petulant. Petulant. Easily irritated or annoyed. Expiate. Expiate. Make amends for. Cavalier. Cavalier. Given to haughty disregard of others. Banter. Banter. Like teasing repartee. Bluster. Bluster. Act in an arrogant, overly self-assured, or conceited manner. Abase. Abase. Corrupt morally or by intemperance or sensuality. Retainer. Retainer. A person working in the service of another. Subjugate. Subjugate. make subservient, force to submit or subdue. Extol, extol. Praise, glorify, or honor. Fraud, fraud. Filled with or attended with. August, august. Profoundly honored. Fissure, fissure. A long narrow depression in a surface. Knoll, knoll. A small natural hill. Callous, callous. Emotionally hardened. Inculcate, inculcate. Teach and impress by frequent repetitions or admonitions. Nettle, nettle. Disturb, especially by minor irritations. Blanch, blanch. Turn pale, as if in fear. Inscrutable, inscrutable. Difficult or impossible to understand. Tenacious, tenacious. Stubbornly unyielding. Thrall, thrall. The state of being under the control of another person. Exigency, exigency. A pressing or urgent situation. Disconsolate, disconsolate. Sad beyond comforting, incapable of being soothed. Impetus, impetus. A force that makes something happen. Imposition, imposition. And uncalled for burden. Auspices, auspices. Kindly endorsement and guidance. Sunrise, sunrise. Full and loud and deep. Exploitation, exploitation. An act that victimizes someone. Bane, bane. Something causing misery or death. Dint, dint. Force or effort. Ignominious, ignominious. Deserving or bringing disgrace or shame. Amicable, amicable. Characterized by friendship and goodwill. Onset, onset. The beginning or early stages. Conservatory, conservatory. A schoolhouse with special facilities for fine arts. Zenith, zenith. The point above the observer directly opposite the nadir. Voluble, voluble. Marked by a ready flow of speech. Yeoman, yeoman. A free man who cultivates his own land. Levity, levity. A manner lacking seriousness. Rapt. Rapt. Feeling great delight and interest. Sultry. Sultry. Characterized by oppressive heat and humidity. Pinion. Pinion. Bind the arms of. Axiom. Axiom. A proposition that is not susceptible of proof or disproof. Descry. Descry. Catch sight of. Retinue. Retinue. The group following and attending to some important person. Functionary. Functionary. A worker who holds or is invested with an office. Imbibe. Imbibe. Take in liquids. Diversified. Diversified. Having variety of character or form or components. Maraud. Maraud. Raid and rove in search of booty. Grudging. Grudging. Petty or reluctant in giving or spending. Partiality. Partiality. A predisposition to like something. Philology. Philology. The humanistic study of language and literature. Wry. Wry. Humorously sarcastic or mocking. Caucus. Caucus. Meet to select a candidate or promote a policy. Permeate. Permeate. Spread or diffuse through. Propitious. Propitious. Presenting favorable circumstances. Salient. Salient. Conspicuous, prominent, or important. Propitiate. Propitiate. Make peace with. Excise. Excise. Remove by cutting. Betoken. Betoken. Be a signal for or a symptom of. Palatable. Palatable. Acceptable to the taste or mind. Upbraid. Upbraid. Express criticism towards. Renegade. Renegade. Someone who rebels and becomes an outlaw. Hoary. Hoary. Ancient. Pedantic. Pedantic. Marked by a narrow focus on or display of learning. Coy. Coy. Showing marked and often playful evasiveness or reluctance. Troth. Troth. A solemn pledge of fidelity. Encroachment. Encroachment. Entry to another's property without right or permission. Believe. Believe. Be in contradiction with. Armada. Armada. A large fleet. Succor. Succor. Assistance in time of difficulty. Imperturbable. Imperturbable. Marked by extreme calm and composure. Irresolute. Irresolute. Uncertain how to act or proceed. Knack. Knack. A special way of doing something. Unseemly. Unseemly. Not in keeping with accepted standards of what is proper. Accentuate. Accentuate. Stress or single out as important. Divulge. Divulge. Make known to the public information previously kept secret. Brawn. Brawn. The trait of possessing muscular strength. Burnish. Burnish. Polish and make shiny. Palpitate. Palpitate. Beat rapidly. Promiscuous. Promiscuous. Not selective of a single class or person. Dissemble. Dissemble. Make believe with the intent to deceive. Flotilla. Flotilla. A fleet of small craft. Invective. Invective. Abusive language used to express blame or censure. Hermitage. Hermitage. The abode of a recluse. Despoil. Despoil. Destroy and strip of its possession. Sully. Sully. Make dirty or spotty. Malevolent. Malevolent. Having or exerting a malignant influence. Irksome. Irksome. Tedious or irritating. Prattle. Prattle. Speak about unimportant matters rapidly and incessantly. Subaltern. Subaltern. Inferior in rank or status. Welt. Welt. A raised mark on the skin. Reek. Reek. Cause to happen or to occur as a consequence. Tenable. Tenable. Based on sound reasoning or evidence. Inimitable. Inimitable. Matchless. Depredation. Depredation. A destructive action. Amalgamate. Amalgamate. Bring or combine together or with something else. Immutable. Immutable. Not subject or susceptible to change or variation. Proxy. Proxy. A person authorized to act for another. Dote. Dote. Shower with love. Show excessive affection for. Reactionary. Reactionary. Extremely conservative or resistant to change. Rationalism. Rationalism. The doctrine that reason is the basis for regulating conduct. Endue. Endue. Give qualities or abilities to. Discriminating. Discriminating. Showing or indicating careful judgment and discernment. Brooch. Brooch. A decorative pin. Pert. Pert. Characterized by a likely saucy or impudent quality. Disembark. Disembark. Exit from a ship, vehicle, or aircraft. Aria. Aria. An elaborate song for solo voice. Trappings. Trappings. Ornaments. Embellishments to all characteristic signs of. Abet. Abet. Assist or encourage, usually in some wrongdoing. Clandestine. Clandestine. Conducted with or marked by hidden aims or methods. Distend. Distend. Swell from, or as if from internal pressure. Glib. Glib. Having only superficial plausibility. Pucker. Pucker. Gather something into small wrinkles or folds. Rejoinder. Rejoinder. A quick reply to a question or a remark. Spangle. Spangle. Adornment consisting of a small piece of shiny material. Blighted. Blighted. Affected by something that prevents growth or prosperity. Nachetti. Nachetti. Conformity with some standard of correctness or propriety. Aggrieve. Aggrieve. Infringe on the rights of. Vestment. Vestment. A gown worn by the clergy. Urbane. Urbane. Showing a high degree of refinement. Defray. Defray. Bear the expenses of. Spectral. Spectral. Resembling or characteristic of a phantom. Munificent. Munificent. Very generous. Dictum. Dictum. An authoritative declaration. Fad. Fad. An interest followed with exaggerated zeal. Scabbard. Scabbard. A sheath for a sword or dagger or bayonet. Adulterate. Adulterate. Make impure by adding a foreign or inferior substance. Beleaguer. Beleaguer. Annoy persistently. Gripe. Gripe. Complain. Remission. Remission. An abatement in intensity or degree. Exorbitant. Exorbitant. Greatly exceeding bounds of reason or moderation. Invocation. Invocation. The act of appealing for help. Cajole. Cajole. Influence or urge by gentle urging, caressing, or flattering. Inclusive. Inclusive. Encompassing much or everything. Interdict. Interdict. Command against. Abase. Abase. Cause to feel shame. Obviate. Obviate. Do away with. Hurdle. Hurdle. Move with or as if with a rushing sound. Unanimity. Unanimity. Everyone being of one mind. Mettle. Mettle. The courage to carry on. Interpolate. Interpolate. Insert words into texts, often falsifying it thereby. Surreptitious. Surreptitious. Marked by quiet and caution and secrecy. Dissimulate. Dissimulate. Hide feelings from other people. Ruse. Ruse. A deceptive maneuver, especially to avoid capture. Specious. Specious. Plausible but false. Revulsion. Revulsion. Intense aversion. Hail. Hail. Exhibiting or restore it to vigorous good health. Palliate. Palliate. Lessen or to try to lessen the seriousness or extent of. Obtuse. Obtuse. Lacking in insight or discernment. Querulous. Querulous. Habitually complaining. Vagary. Vagary. An unexpected and inexplicable change in something. Incipient. Incipient. Only partly in existence. Imperfectly formed. Obdurate. Obdurate. Stubbornly persistent in wrongdoing. Grovel. Grovel. Show submission or fear. Refractory. Refractory. Stubbornly resistant to authority or control. Dregs. Dregs. Sediment that has settled at the bottom of a liquid. Ascendancy. Ascendancy. The state when one person or a group has power over another. Supercilious. Supercilious. Having or showing arrogant disdain or haughtiness. Pundit. Pundit. Someone who has been admitted to membership in a field. Commissariat. Commissariat. Feel or express sympathy or compassion. Alcove. Alcove. A small recess opening off a larger room. Aussie. Aussie. Make an effort or attempt. Parochial. Parochial. Narrowly restricted in outlook or scope. Conjugal. Conjugal. Relating to the relationship between a wife and husband. Abjure. Abjure. Formally reject or disavow a formerly held belief. Freeze. Frieze. An ornament consisting of a horizontal sculptured band. Ornate. Ornate. Marked by complexity and richness of detail. Inflammatory. Inflammatory. Arousing to action or rebellion. Machination. Machination. A crafty and involved plot to achieve your ends. Mendicant. Mendicant. A pauper who lives by begging. Meander. Meander. Move or cause to move in a winding or curving course. Bullion. Bullion. Gold or silver in bars or ingots. Diffidence. Diffidence. Lack of self-assurance. Makeshift. Makeshift. Done or made using whatever is available. Husbandry. Husbandry. The practice of cultivating the land or raising stock. Podium. Podium. A platform raised above the surrounding level. Dearth. Dearth. An insufficient quantity or number. Granary. Granary. A storehouse for threshed grain or animal feed. Wet. Wet. Make keen or more acute. Imposture. Imposture. Pretending to be another person. Diadem. Diadem. an ornamental jeweled headdress signifying sovereignty. Fallow. Fallow. Undeveloped but potentially useful. Hubbub. Hubbub. Loud confused noise from many sources. Dispassionate. Dispassionate. Unaffected by strong emotion or prejudice. Harrowing. Harrowing. Causing extreme distress. Askance. Askance. With suspicion or disapproval. Lancet. Lancet. A surgical knife with a pointed double-edged blade. Rankle. Rankle. Make resentful or angry. Ramify. Ramify. Have or develop complicating consequences. Gainsay. Gainsay. Take exception to. Polity. Polity. A governmentally organized unit. Credence. Credence. The mental attitude that something is believable. Indemnify. Indemnify. Make amends for. Pay compensation for. Ingratiate. Ingratiate. Gain favor with somebody by deliberate efforts. Declivity. Declivity. A downward slope or bend. Importunate. Importunate. Making persistent or urgent requests. Passé. Passé. Out of fashion. Whittle. Whittle. Cut small bits or pare shavings from. Rapini. Rapini. Express discontent. Flay. Flay. Strip the skin off. Larder. Larder. A small storeroom for storing foods or wines. Threadbare. Threadbare. Thin and tattered with age. Grisly. Grisly. Shockingly repellent, inspiring horror. Untoward. Untoward. Not in keeping with accepted standards of what is proper. Idiosyncrasy. Idiosyncrasy. A behavioral attribute peculiar to an individual. Quip. Quip. Make jokes or witty remarks. Blatant. Blatant. Without any attempt at concealment. Completely obvious. Staunch. Staunch. Stop the flow of a liquid. Incongruity. Incongruity. The quality of disagreeing. Perfidious. Perfidious. tending to betray. Platitude. Platitude. A trite or obvious remark. Revelry. Revelry. Unrestrained merrymaking. Delve. Delve. Turn up, loosen, or remove earth. Extenuate. Extenuate. Lessen or to try to lessen the seriousness or degree of. Polemic. Polemic. A verbal or written attack, especially of a belief or dogma. Enrapture. Enrapture. Hold spellbound. Virtuoso. Virtuoso. Someone who is dazzlingly skilled in any field. Glower. Glower. Look angry or sullen as if to signal disapproval. Mundane. Mundane. Found in the ordinary course of events. Fatuous. Fatuous. Devoid of intelligence. Incorrigible. Incorrigible. Impervious to correction by punishment. Postulate. Postulate. Maintain or assert. Gist. Gist. The central meaning or theme of a speech or a literary work. Vociferous. Vociferous. Conspicuously and offensively loud. Pervade. Pervade. Supply with provisions. Baleful. Baleful. Deadly or sinister. Jibe. Jibe. Laugh at with contempt and derision. Dyspeptic. Dyspeptic. Irritable as if suffering from indigestion. Prude. Prude. A person excessively concerned about propriety and decorum. Luminary. Luminary. A celebrity who is an inspiration to others. Amenable. Amenable. Disposed or willing to comply. Willful. Willful. Habitually disposed to disobedience and opposition. Overbearing. Overbearing. Having or showing arrogant superiority to. Dais. Dais. A platform raised above the surrounding level. Automate. Automate. Operate or make run by machines rather than human action. Enervate. Enervate. Weaken mentally or morally. Wheedle. Wheedle. Influence or urge by gentle urging, caressing, or flattering. Gusto. Gusto. Vigorous and enthusiastic enjoyment. Bouillon. Bouillon. a clear seasoned broth. Omniscient. Omniscient. Infinitely wise. Apostate. Apostate. Not faithful to religion or party or cause. Carrion. Carrion. The dead and rotting body of an animal, unfit for human food. Emolument. Emolument. Compensation received by virtue of holding an office. Ungainly. Ungainly. Lacking grace in movement or posture. Impiety. Impiety. Unrighteousness by virtue of lacking respect for a god. Decadence. Decadence. The state of being degenerate in mental or moral qualities. Homily. Homily. A sermon on a moral or religious topic. Avocation. Avocation. An auxiliary activity. Circumvent. Circumvent. Avoid or try to avoid fulfilling, answering, or performing. Syllogism. Syllogism. Reasoning in which a conclusion is derived from two premises. Collation. Collation. Assembling in proper numerical or logical sequence. Haggle. Haggle. Wrangle, as over a price or terms of an agreement. Waylay. Waylay. Wait in hiding to attack. Savant. Savant. A learned person. Cohort. Cohort. A group of people having approximately the same age. Unction. Unction. Excessive but superficial compliments with affected charm. Adjure. Adjure. Command solemnly. Acrimony. Acrimony. A rough and bitter manner. Clarion. Clarion. Loud and clear. Turbid. Turbid. Clouded as with sediment. Cupidity. Cupidity. Extreme greed for material wealth. Disaffected. Disaffected. Discontented as toward authority. Preternatural. Preternatural. Surpassing the ordinary or normal. Su. Su. Avoid and stay away from deliberately. Expatiate. Expatiate. Add details, as to an account or idea. Didactic. Didactic. Instructive, especially excessively. Sinuous. Sinuous. Curved or curving in and out. Rancor. Rancor. A feeling of deep and bitter anger and ill will. Puissant. Puissant. Powerful. Homespun. Homespun. Characteristic of country life. Embroil. Embroil. Force into some kind of situation or a course of action. Pathological. Pathological. Caused by or evidencing a mentally disturbed condition. Resonant. Resonant. Characterized by a loud deep sound. Libretto. Libretto. The words of an opera or musical play. Flail. Flail. Thrash about. Bandy. Bandy. Discuss lightly. Gratis. Gratis. Costing nothing. Upshot. Upshot. A phenomenon that is caused by some previous phenomenon. Aphorism. Aphorism. A short pithy instructive saying. Redoubtable. Redoubtable. Worthy of respect or honor. Corpulent. Corpulent. Excessively fat. Benighted. Benighted. Lacking enlightenment or knowledge or culture. Sententious. Sententious. Abounding in or given to pompous or aphoristic moralizing. Cabal. Cabal. A clique that seeks power usually through intrigue. Paraphernalia. Paraphernalia. Equipment consisting of miscellaneous articles. Vitiate. Vitiate. Make imperfect. Adulation. Adulation. Exaggerated flattery or praise. Quaff. Quaff. Swallow her eagerly or greedily or in one draught. Unassuming. Unassuming. Not arrogant. Libertine. Libertine. A dissolute person. Maul. Maul. Injure badly. Adage. Adage. A condensed but memorable saying embodying an important fact. Expostulation. Expostulation. The act of expressing earnest opposition or protest. Tawdry. Tawdry. Tastelessly showy. Trite. Trite. Repeated too often. Overfamiliar through overuse. Her illing. Her illing. A person who works only for money. Ensconce. Ensconce. Fix firmly. Egregious. Egregious. Conspicuously and outrageously bad or reprehensible. Cogent. Cogent. Powerfully persuasive. Incisive. Incisive. Demonstrating ability to recognize or draw fine distinctions. Errant. Errant. Straying from the right course or from accepted standards. Sedulous. Sedulous. Marked by care and persistent effort. Incandescent. Incandescent. Characterized by ardent emotion, intensity, or brilliance. Derelict. Derelict. In deplorable condition. Entomology. Entomology. The branch of zoology that studies insects. Execrable. Execrable. Unequivocally detestable. Sluice. Sluice. Pour as if from a conduit that carries a rapid flow of water. Moot. Moot. Of no legal significance, as having been previously decided. Evanescent. Evanescent. Tending to vanish like vapor. Vat. Vat. A large open vessel for holding or storing liquids. Dapper. Dapper. Marked by up-to-dateness in dress and manners. Asperity. Asperity. Harshness of manner. Flair. Flair. A natural talent. Mote. Mote. A tiny piece of anything. Circumspect. Circumspect. Careful to consider potential consequences and avoid risk. Inimical. Inimical. Not friendly. Apropos. Apropos. Of a suitable, fitting, or pertinent nature. Cruel. Cruel. A thin porridge. Gentility. Gentility. Elegance by virtue of thinness of manner and expression. Disapprobation. Disapprobation. Pronouncing as wrong or morally culpable. Cameo. Cameo. Engraving or carving in low relief on a stone. Gouge. Gouge. Swindle. Obtained by coercion. Oratorio. Oratorio. A musical composition for voices and orchestra. Inclement. Inclement. severe, of weather. Scintilla. Scintilla. A tiny or scarcely detectable amount. Confluence. Confluence. A flowing together. Squalor. Squalor. Sordid dirtiness. Stricture. Stricture. Severe criticism. Emblazon. Emblazon. Decorate with heraldic arms. Augury. Augury. An event indicating important things to come. Abut. Abut. Lie adjacent to another or share a boundary. Banal. Banal. Repeat too often. Overfamiliar through overuse. Congeal. Congeal. Solidify, thicken, or come together. Pilfer. Pilfer. Make off with belongings of others. Malcontent. Malcontent. A person who is unsatisfied or disgusted. Sublimate. Sublimate. Direct energy or urges into useful activities. Eugenic. Eugenic. Causing improvement in the offspring produced. Lineament. Lineament. The characteristic parts of a person's face. Firebrand. Firebrand. Someone who deliberately foments trouble. Fiasco. Fiasco. A complete failure or collapse. Foolhardy. Foolhardy. Marked by defiant disregard for danger or consequences. Retrench. Retrench. Tighten one's belt. Use resources carefully. Ulterior. Ulterior. Lying beyond what is openly revealed or avowed. Equable. Equable. Not varying. Inured. Inured. Made tough by habitual exposure. Invidious. Invidious. Containing or implying a slight or showing prejudice. Unmitigated. Unmitigated. Not diminished or moderated in intensity or severity. Concomitant. Concomitant. An event or situation that happens at the same time. Causin. Causin. Cheat or trick. Phlegmatic. Phlegmatic. Showing little emotion. Dormer. Dormer. A gabled extension built out from a sloping roof. Pontifical. Pontifical. Denoting or governed by or relating to a bishop or bishops. Disport. Disport. Occupy in an agreeable, entertaining or pleasant fashion. Apologist. Apologist. A person who argues to defend some policy or institution. Abeyance. Abeyance. Temporary cessation or suspension. Enclave. Enclave. An enclosed territory that is culturally distinct. Improvident. Improvident. Not supplying something useful for the future. Disquisition. Disquisition. An elaborate analytical or explanatory essay or discussion. Categorical. Categorical. Not modified or restricted by reservations. Placati. Placati. Cause to be more favorably inclined. Redolent. Redolent. Serving to bring to mind. Felicitous. Felicitous. Exhibiting an agreeably appropriate manner or style. Gusty. Gusty. Blowing in puffs or short intermittent blasts. Natty. Natty. Marked by up-to-dateness in dress and manners. Pacifist. Pacifist. Opposed to war. Buxom. Buxom. Healthily plump and vigorous. Heyday. Heyday. The period of greatest prosperity or productivity. Herculean. Herculean. Displaying superhuman strength or power. Burgeon. Burgeon. Grow and flourish. Crone. Crone. And ugly, evil-looking old woman. Prognosticate. Prognosticate. Make a prediction about, tell in advance. Lout. Lout. An awkward, stupid person. Simper. Simper. Smile affectedly or derisively. Iniquitous. Iniquitous. Characterized by injustice or wickedness. Rile. Rile. Disturb, especially by minor irritations. Sentient. Sentient. Endowed with feeling and unstructured consciousness. Garish. Garish. Tastelessly showy. Readjustment. Readjustment. The act of correcting again. Erstwhile. Erstwhile. Belonging to some prior time. Aquiline. Aquiline. Curved down like an eagle's beak. Bilious. bilious, irritable as if suffering from indigestion, vilify, vilify, spread negative information about, nuance, nuance, a subtle difference in meaning or opinion or attitude, gawk, gawk, look with amazement, refectory, refectory, a communal dining hall, usually in a monastery, palatial, palatial, suitable for or like a large and stately residence, mincing, mincing, affectedly dainty or refined, transient, transient, having keenness and forcefulness and penetration in thought, emboss, emboss, raise in a relief, proletarian, proletarian, a member of the working class, careen, careen, pitching dangerously to one side, debacle, debacle, a sound defeat, sycophant, sycophant, a person who tries to please someone to gain an advantage, crabbed, crabbed, annoyed and irritable, archetype, archetype, something that serves as a model, cryptic, cryptic, of an obscure nature, penchant, penchant, a strong liking, bauble, bauble, cheap showy jewelry or ornament, mountebank, mountebank, a flamboyant deceiver, fawning, fawning, attempting to win favor by flattery, hummock, hummock, a small natural hill, apotheosis, apotheosis, model of excellence or perfection of a kind, discretionary, discretionary, not earmarked, available for use as needed, pithy, pithy, concise and full of meaning, compart, compart, behave in a certain manner, checkered, checkered, marked by changeable fortune, ambrosia, ambrosia, the food and drink of the gods, factious, factious, dissenting with the majority opinion, disgorge, disgorge, cause or allow to flow or run out or over, filch, filch, Make off with belongings of others. Wraith. Wraith. A mental representation of some haunting experience. Demonstrable. Demonstrable. Capable of being proved. Pertinacious. Pertinacious. Stubbornly unyielding. Amend. Amend. Make corrections to. Laggard. Laggard. Someone who takes more time than necessary. Waffle. Waffle. Pause or hold back in uncertainty or unwillingness. Loquacious. Loquacious. Full of trivial conversation. Venial. Venial. Easily excused or forgiven. Paean. Paean. A laborer who is obliged to do menial work. Fulgence. Fulgence. The quality of being bright and sending out rays of light. Load. Load. A deposit of valuable ore. Fanfare. Fanfare. A gaudy outward display. Dilettante. Dilettante. Showing frivolous or superficial interest. Amateurish. Pusillanimous. Pusillanimous. Lacking in courage, strength, and resolution. Ingrained. Ingrained. Deeply rooted, firmly fixed or held. Quagmire. Quagmire. A soft wet area of low-lying land that sinks underfoot. Reprobation. Reprobation. Severe disapproval. Mannered. Mannered. Having unnatural behavioral attributes. Squeamish. Squeamish. Excessively fastidious and easily disgusted. Proclivity. Proclivity. A natural inclination. Miserly. Miserly. Characterized by or indicative of lack of generosity. Vapid. Vapid. Lacking significance or liveliness or spirit or zest. Mercurial. Mercurial. Liable to sudden unpredictable change. Perspicuous. Perspicuous. Transparently clear, easily understandable. Nonplus. Nonplus. Be a mystery or bewildering to. Enamor. Enamor. Attract. Hackneyed. Hackneyed. Repeated too often. Overfamiliar through overuse. Spate. Spate. a large number or amount or extent. Pedagogue. Pedagogue. Someone who educates young people. Acme. Acme. The highest level or degree attainable. Masticate. Masticate. Bite and grind with the teeth. Sinecure. Sinecure. A job that involves minimal duties. Indict. Indict. Produce a literary work. Emetic. Emetic. A medicine that induces nausea and vomiting. Temporize. Temporize. Draw out a discussion or a process in order to gain time. Unimpeachable. Unimpeachable. Beyond doubt or reproach. Genesis. Genesis. A coming into being. Mordant. Mordant. Harshly ironic or sinister. Smattering. Smattering. A small number or amount. Suavity. Suavity. The quality of being charming and gracious in manner. Stentorian. Stentorian. Very loud or booming. Junket. Junket. A trip taken by an official at public expense. Appurtenance. Appurtenance. A supplementary component that improves capability. Nostrum. Nostrum. Patent medicine whose efficacy is questionable. Immer. Immer. Lock up or confine, inurers in a jail. Astringent. Astringent. Sour or bitter in taste. Unfaltering. Unfaltering. Marked by firm determination or resolution, not shockable. Tutelage. Tutelage. Attention and management implying responsibility for safety. Stater. Stater. A person who makes a will. Elegian. Elegian. Of such excellence as to suggest inspiration by the gods. Fulminate. Fulminate. Criticize severely. Fractious. Fractious. Easily irritated or annoyed. Pummel. Pummel. Strike, usually with the fist. Manumit. Manumit. Free from slavery or servitude. Unexceptionable. Unexceptionable. Completely acceptable. Not open to reproach. Triumvirate. Triumvirate. A group of 3 people responsible for civil authority. Sybarite. Sybarite. A person addicted to luxury and pleasures of the senses. Jibe. Jibe. Be compatible, similar, or consistent. Magisterial. Magisterial. Offensively self-assured or exercising unwarranted power. Russet. Russet. Of something having a dusty purplish-pink color. Obloquy. Obloquy. Abusive, malicious, and condemnatory language. Hoodwink. Hoodwink. Influenced by slyness. Striate. Striate. Mark with stripes of contrasting color. Arrogate. Arrogate. Seize and take control without authority. Rarefied. Rarefied. Of high moral or intellectual value. Chary. Chary. Characterized by great caution. Credo. Credo. Any system of principles or beliefs. Superannuated. Superannuated. Too old to be useful. Impolitic. Impolitic. Not marked by artful prudence. Aspersion. Aspersion. A disparaging remark. Abysmal. Abysmal. So deep as to be immeasurable. Poignancy. Poignancy. A quality that arouses emotions, especially pity or sorrow. Stilted. Stilted. Artificially formal. Effete. Effete. Excessively self-indulgent, affected, or decadent. Provender. Provender. Food for domestic livestock. Endemic. Endemic. Of a disease constantly present in a particular locality. Jocund. Jocund. Full of or showing high-spirited merriment. Procedural. Procedural. Of or relating to processes. Rakish. Rakish. Marked by a carefree unconventionality or disreputableness. Skittish. Skittish. Unpredictably excitable, especially of horses. Peroration. Peroration. A flowery and highly rhetorical address. Nonentity. Nonentity. A person of no influence. Abstemious. Abstemious. marked by temperance and indulgence. Viscid. Viscid. Having the sticky properties of an adhesive. Doggerel. Doggerel. A comic verse of irregular measure. Sleight. Sleight. Adroitness in using the hands. Rubric. Rubric. Category name. Planitude. Planitude. A full supply. Rebus. Rebus. A puzzle consisting of pictures representing words. Wizened. Wizened. Lean and wrinkled by shrinkages from age or illness. Whirl. Whirl. A round shape formed by a series of concentric circles. Fracas. Fracas. A noisy quarrel. Iconoclast. Iconoclast. Someone who attacks cherished ideas or institutions. Saturnini. Saturnini. Bitter or scornful. Madrigal. Madrigal. An unaccompanied part song for several voices. Discursive. Discursive. Tending to cover a wide range of subjects. Zealot. Zealot. A fervent and even militant proponent of something. Moribund. Moribund. Not growing or changing, without force or vitality. Modicum. Modicum. A small or moderate or token amount. Connotation. Connotation. An idea that is implied or suggested. Adventitious. Adventitious. Associated by chance and not an integral part. Recondite. Recondite. Difficult to penetrate. Zephyr. Zephyr. A slight wind. Countermand. Countermand. Cancel officially. Captious. Captious. Tending to find and call attention to faults. Cognate. Cognate. Having the same ancestral language. Forbear. Forbear. A person from whom you are descended. Cadaverous. Cadaverous. Very thin, especially from disease or hunger or cold. Foist. Foist. Force onto another. Dotage. Dotage. Mental infirmity is a consequence of old age. Nexus. Nexus. a connected series or group. Choleric. Choleric. Characterized by anger. Garble. Garble. Distort or make false by mutilation or addition. Bucolic. Bucolic. Idyllically rustic. Denouement. Denouement. The outcome of a complex sequence of events. Animus. Animus. A feeling of ill will arousing active hostility. Overweening. Overweening. Unrestrained, especially with regard to feelings. Tyro. Tyro. Someone new to a field or activity. Preen. Preen. Dress or groom with elaborate care. Largesse. Largesse. Liberality in bestowing gifts. Retentive. Retentive. Good at remembering. Unconscionable. Unconscionable. Greatly exceeding bounds of reason or moderation. Badinage. Badinage. Frivolous banter. Insensate. Insensate. Devoid of feeling and consciousness and animation. Sherbet. Sherbet. A frozen dessert made primarily of fruit juice and sugar. Beatific. Beatific. Resembling or befitting an angel or saint. Bemuse. Bemuse. Cause to be confused emotionally. Microcosm. Microcosm. A miniature model of something. Factitious. Factitious. Not produced by natural forces, artificial or fake. Gestate. Gestate. Develop in the mind, have the idea for. Traduci. Traduci. Speak unfavorably about. Sextant. Sextant. An instrument for measuring angular distance. Coiffure. Coiffure. The arrangement of the hair. Malleable. Malleable. Easily influenced. Rococo. Rococo. Having excessive asymmetrical ornamentation. Fructify. Fructify. Become productive or fruitful. Nihilist. Nihilist. Someone who rejects all theories of morality. Ellipsis. Ellipsis. Omission or suppression of parts of words or sentences. Accolade. Accolade. A tangible symbol signifying approval or distinction. Codicil. Codicil. A supplement to a will. Royal. Royal. Be agitated. Grandiloquent. Grandiloquent. Lofty in style. Inconsequential. Inconsequential. Lacking worth or importance. Effervescence. Effervescence. The property of giving off bubbles. Stultify. Stultify. Deprive of strength or efficiency. Make useless or worthless. Tureen. Tureen. Large deep serving dish with a cover. Pellucid. Pellucid. Transparently clear. Easily understandable. Euphony. Euphony. Any pleasing and harmonious sounds. Apocryphal. Apocryphal. Being of questionable authenticity. Voracious. Voracious. Precisely accurate. Pendulous. Pendulous. Hanging loosely or bending downward. Exegesis. Exegesis. An explanation or critical interpretation. Effluvium. Effluvium. A foul-smelling outflow or vapor. Apposite. Apposite. Being of striking appropriateness and pertinence. Viscous. Viscous. Having the sticky properties of an adhesive. Misanthrope. Misanthrope. Someone who dislikes people in general. Vintner. Vintner. Someone who makes wine. Halcyon. Halcyon. Idyllically calm and peaceful, suggesting happy tranquility. Anthropomorphic. Anthropomorphic. Suggesting human features for animals or inanimate things. Turgid. Turgid. Ostentatiously lofty in style. Malaise. Malaise. A general feeling of discomfort, uneasiness, or depression. Polemical. Polemical. Of or involving dispute or controversy. Gadfly. Gadfly. A persistently annoying person. Atavism. Atavism. A reappearance of an earlier characteristic. Contusion. Contusion. An injury in which the skin is not broken. Parsimonious. Parsimonious. Excessively unwilling to spend. Dulcet. Dulcet. pleasing to the ear. Reprise. Reprise. Repeat an earlier theme of a composition. Anodyne. Anodyne. Capable of relieving pain. Bemused. Bemused. Perplexed by many conflicting situations or statements. Thank you for watching. Here are a couple of videos that I suggest you watch next. Before you move on to next video, if you find this video helpful, please make sure that you are subscribed to my channel. Just click the link in the description below and enable all notifications. You'll be notified whenever I upload my next video. Thank you so much. See you soon.